Come round to the grid, ready for the first start, the first of the two starts, of course. Not quite ready to go, just waiting for a few more of the bikes to join us at the back there. We've got the green flag, thank you very much indeed, Claire. Revs rise, tension mounts. A few gaps there in the 600s as we always have this time of the year. And away we go. Right, Keegan Leatherland, I can see him hooking up very nicely indeed. I think he's going to not lose out too badly, but he's not going to lead into the first corner. I think that might well be Chad Shiner, maybe Andrew Morris. Can't really tell them apart at this distance, particularly the yellow-orange vest getting in the way. Right. Watch the second start there as this time Tony McBride decides to clear out of the way. Just waiting for the all clear and away we go. They're racing and there is no Bruce Dunn. Yes, there is a Bruce Dunn on the grid there, sorry. Oh, is that Bruce? No, that's somebody else. Sorry, it's, no, it wasn't Bruce.
That's George Prenos.
Yeah, okay, so no, it's getting the colours mixed up a little bit there. So Bruce not there, so maybe some sort of issue with the machine, unfortunately. That's the trouble with these TZs. They're relatively fragile machines, as beautiful as they are. Now, Bruce, I don't think he's doing the rest of the championship, which is being led by Hayden Smith, very comfortably by Hayden Smith as well. Nearly 100, well, not nearly 100, it was 174 points, so it's probably over 200 points is the gap between himself and Damien Lee by the end of this particular race, as they now work their way around Oggies as the 600s, as the 2-strokes and 4-stroke open 500s hook their way into Agostini's.
Around Agostini's they go, and that is look to be Sean Crone leading the way from Hayden Smith. So the 4-stroke ZX4R Kawasaki and the 2-stroke TZ250 through Hamilton's. And you imagine that Hayden Smith is going to be strong on the brakes, and he looks for the inside on Sean Crone, but Sean just being shown off of the line there, I think, by Hayden Smith. But Hayden's through, and Sean Crone will now have the bit between his teeth, and he'll be tucking in tight, but in the slipstream going down the back straight for the first time of 7. But I'd imagine that the TZ250 has a little bit more power down the back straight.
Yeah, you'd hope so. They hope the TZ's got a few more herbs than the 4-stroke Kawasaki. He certainly has moved to be the quicker of the two machines so far this weekend, that's for sure. But Sean Crone's been putting in some good rides, to be fair.
Oh, yellow flags on the way into Brilliant.
Well spotted, mate. Yep.
Through come the rookie 600s, and leading the way it is Chad Shiner from Andrew Morris, and it's Churcher, Hall, Leatherland, Ketteringham is dropping down the order, unfortunately. So number 573, Kean Ketteringham, is dropping down the order. He was in 4th when the lights went out, but he has dropped down the order. But the rider is up and okay.
I see the rider walking away unaided as the marshals quickly scoop up his bike and hustle that to the side of the track as well. Leatherland showing is making up 4 places after that really good start there as well. And Shiner leads Morris and Churcher. That's how they started out, but Hall makes up a couple of places. I think Leatherland's going to be giving him a hard time very shortly. They came across the line, though, separated by 1.4 seconds, so not a great opening lap there by Lyndon Leatherland, particularly after that very strong start, but he still has made up a few places. But we are used to Keaton being right at the very sharp end. Smith leads the 2-stroke class over the line ahead of Crone in the 4-stroke section of the Open 500, and then it's Gill on target for a podium this time. Has Andy Gill been on the podium with the Kawasaki this week? Yes, he was. He was almost in the earlier race because we had a 1st and 3rd, didn't we, for Hayden and Andy? So it could be a 1-2 for Team Smith at this rate. Damien Lee again doing well and 3rd in the class on his TZR. Then George Prenos. Then it's Simon Harvey, Ewan Bainborough, Buckham, Eilbeck and Catering not making it at the end of the first lap, showing as being in the pits actually. And then Hemphill I don't think made the start at all. He's in the pits. It's Ketteringham. Ketteringham's in the pits. Yeah, Hemphill.
Yeah, credit to going into the pits.
Hemphill I'm not sure made the start actually. Right. Ketteringham went into the pits. Yeah, Hemphill's the one that crashed out, of course. We did have lost somebody down there.
Nelson's, yeah.
Right, Shiner now making his way into Murray's as well. He was leading at the end of the first sector. Can he hang on to that? Over the line last time, he was 0.184 ahead of Morris, who looked to have the bit between his teeth, and those two pushing on very hard indeed. It is still Shiner for Morris, less than 2/10 of a second. Fastest man, as far as the sector time goes, unsurprisingly, is Keaton Leatherland. One last chance to add yet another lap record to his already impressive tally, but he's not getting on so well with the circuit here. He's got 1.1 second gap between himself and his next target, though. That's going to be Sam Churcher, and he's about 2 seconds a lap quicker than Churcher. The other guys in 203, whereas Keaton is a 201, a high 201 to be fair, so maybe just about a second or so. The leader into a 201.693 though. If you want to be putting your name onto the lap record, you've got to beat Stephen Draker's 57.8, which is a phenomenal time, isn't it, really?
It really is.
57.8 in any 600 is amazing, but Steve Draper, very, very talented rider, and it shows that could be another one of those lap records that could be with us a long time, I think, Bradley, to be fair.
I'm just having a look at the lap times that they're doing at the moment. The top two of Chad Shiner and Andrew Morris are in the 2-minute ones, and to be fair to them, that would put them in the mid-pack in the MRO and Clubland 600s.
Well, we do see the rookie 600s start to drift towards the Clubland 600s as the second class where there's availability, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a few of them ticking the particular box as a second class. I mean, if you're really slow, then you won't be allowed to enter, but I think looking at the times these guys are doing, as you say, they're quite competitive. That would put you in the midfield. You could enter as a clubman and get a little bit more track time and a bit more experience, and you'll be racing against faster people, which brings you on very nicely indeed. Smith and Crone are over the line, separated by a second and a half. Smith still leading the two-stroke section ahead of the what would be a four-time winner if he can pull it off as well. That would be Sean Crone, and that would give him a very handy lead in the four-stroke championship, as his main rival Jake Donkersley is not here, and to be fair, he's been beating him most of the year anyway, so he'd love to come away from here with a very healthy lead indeed. Over the line we go once again. Shiner and Morris separated by a second. 201.010. Very rapid lap from Shiner there as he consolidates that lead. Leatherland now moves into third with a 201.337. So Keaton Leatherland has come across the line with a deficit of 3.5 seconds. So in real terms, that's an empty track in front of him. I'm expecting him with the empty track to really power along, and I'm expecting him to see a 2-minute. Have we seen a sub 2-minute second?
Not
2-minute lap
no,
in the rookie 600s?
No, 2-minute 0.709 is the fastest we've seen from Chad Shiner in race 3.
Okay, I'm expecting Leatherland though to just go that little bit quicker here. We'll wait and see what he can pull out of the hat.
Fastest laps for the two strokes and the four strokes so far this weekend.
Yep.
Sean Crone did a 207.865 in race 3, and that is the quickest four stroke that we've seen so far this weekend in terms of the Open 500s.
Yep. And the two strokes
was a 206.517.
206.517. Well, at the moment, I don't think we're going to go any quicker. Smith running around in 208. So might have to get the old marker pen out very shortly and give a bit of a tick in those particular boxes, because that looks as though it's going to stay. So Keaton Leatherland, he's not doing what I thought he would do, to be fair. He's come across the line out the back there with the 21.2. That's a decent time, but ahead of him is a 20.9 for both Shiner and Morris. They're very consistent, those two. So maybe Leatherland, he's taken a tumble or two, of course, across the weekend, so maybe the machine's not exactly 100%. He will be obviously looking to improve on those results when we go to the next round and see if he can claim yet another lap record. But I have to say, I don't fancy his chances here, as it's a 201.1 for the leader Shiner and a 201.8 for second man Morris and a 202.6 this time for Leatherland. I was expecting him to crack the magic 2 minutes, if not make it into the sub 2 minutes bracket, but he can't quite do it there. Churchill Hall Roche next across the line. There goes Wright in 7th place. Then it's going to be the Open 500 class coming along. It's going to be Smith first, Hayden Smith that is, on that beautiful TZ250. Your man on the cover, he is going to take that away. And it's going to be Sean Crone up next, leading the four strokes. Andy Gill in third place now, as Damien Lee went past him a lap or so away, about a second and a half behind Damien Lee as well. So it's a good ride from Lee on his development TZR as it is. Smith over the line there, Crone behind him, no change at all, both doing quite consistent 208 as well. It's PB that time for Hayden, and Not quite any better there for Sean Crone, but only half a second or so away from his absolute best. Damien Lee, it is a PB for him as he turns in a 2:14, so that shows you how much quicker a TZ is as opposed to a TZR. Waiting for the leaders to come back towards us. The 282 machine of China is going to be encountering some back markers. Some of the slower open 500 machinery is looking to become cannon fodder. We'll be 5 laps into this 7-lap race very shortly. Here come the leaders then. Chad China up the front straight. Andrew Morris pushing hard after him. Yep. There's Shiner, there's Morris. The gap is now 2.2 seconds. So Shiner doing better with the back markers there. There goes Leatherland again. Not a particularly brilliant lap. It's a 2:02.6, which puts him slower than the guys in front of him. So the gap opens up to 4.5 seconds. So Keaton Leatherland, the man who at one stage we thought would be challenging hard for that lap record. Clearly things aren't working out for him this weekend, but be interesting to see when we get back to Donington where he was so strong previously.
Yeah, and in the same breath there, Keith, as well, he's Churcher has closed the gap to 0.3 of a second between himself and Keaton Leatherland as well. So that was around about 0.9 of a second. So I think it's a case of Keaton Leatherland just not managing to keep pace with the guys in front. They're all in the 202s, but the trouble is that Morris is in a low 202. Shiner was in a low higher 2-minute 1, and Churcher in a low 2-minute 2 as well. Leatherland on that previous lap of 202.641. As across the line goes Hayden Smith, there goes Sean Crone. We are on the penultimate lap now for the Open 500s and the Rookie 600s. Next up, we're looking down the track now, waiting for the third place overall man in the Open 500s to make their appearance. And that, of course, should be Damien Lee, who had Andy Gill only 1.8 seconds behind him at the start of lap number 5.
Consolation prize for Bruce Dunn. I don't know if he's listening as he packs up or he's on his way home, but he will claim the lap record. So for at least a couple of months, your name, or at least the next program, your name will be in as the lap record holder in the Open 500 2-stroke. So that won't be Bruce's first time in a souvenir program as a lap record holder, but it's going to put a smile on your dial, even if you have had a slightly disappointing Sunday at the racetrack. Yeah, I'm watching those sector times, and you're right, actually, mate. Churcher is closing on Leatherland by actually quite a good chunk that time, by about 1.1 seconds. I think he might actually be past him now. I'll have to pick that up. Morris has come across the line, and we've lost Shiner, I think, mate, because all of a sudden it is... no, there we go. It's just a timing glitch. Sorry about that. Wasn't paying attention to the track. So Shiner, Morris, and sure enough, Churcher does go past on Leatherland, so you called that one very well indeed. So, yeah, I have to say, I think that Keaton is probably having some issues there, because we are used to seeing him pretty much on the lap record, if not beating it, at everywhere else we've been to. Albert Hall across the line in 5th, ahead of Timothy Roach. That is right. And then we wait once again for the Open 500 machinery to join us. And 2:07 was the best lap last time round for Smith, but I hate to say it, my friend, you need to be into the 2:06s if you want to take the lap record home from this one as well. 2:06.517 is what you need to beat, and for Sean Crone it's a 2:07.865, and he's doing 2:08. So maybe if he can get a little bit closer to Smith, they can drag each other along just a little bit. There we go, over the line. It is Hayden Smith, a 2:07.592, a 2:08.28 as they get the last lap flag. 3.5 seconds behind them. No need to hurry up too much there. Leatherland's going to... And Shiner, look at Chad Shiner, 1:20.136 in the first sector on the last lap. He's riding like a man who's trying to catch somebody rather than somebody who's got a near 3.5 second lead. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, he's heading around Corrams now, just going around the outside of one of the Open 500 machines there, I think, is Chad Shiner, bike number 282. He's through Corrams into the braking area now for Murray's, runs it very nicely up onto the rumble strip on the exit, and could well be the fastest lap of the weekend on the final lap of the weekend for the Rookie 600. 2 minute 0.709
Yep.
is the fastest so far, and on the last lap 2 minute 0.638.
Decent lap time. It's no lap record, but not to be sneezed at either. So fair play to Chad Shiner as he leads Andrew Morris across the line, becomes the only double winner in this particular class all weekend. Churcher is in third, ahead of Keeson Leatherland, or it should be ahead of Keeson. There we go. Is that Keeson over the line?
I'm not sure
Yes,
if there was an issue with Keaton Leatherland's bike. He just went 5 seconds slower in the first split and 5 seconds slower in the second split.
Yeah, I think there's some sort of issue there because we're not used to seeing Keaton be that slow, quite frankly. Well, we can see Mr. Hemphill, I think, getting ready for the recovery truck there. Quick trip home in the van of shame.